Sorry. Good.
Okay. Would you use this for your own personal use?
I definitely would. I've led 3 different Habitat for Humanity trips since I've been at Belmont. The first year we went to North Carolina, and the second and third year was in Cleveland, Tennessee, East Tennessee. And I think the benefit for us would be to expose the students on campus to the organization they're going to be working with beforehand. For me, it'd be helpful to recruit people. I've noticed the first year we did a lot of paper advertising, posters, everything like that, and it was very tough to get responses. After that, we did all online advertising, which would be similar to what you're doing here with the webpage, and no paper, no posters, nothing, and we got a much better response. I actually had too many people sign up this year where we considered a last-minute second trip, and we actually had to turn students down because we just didn't have enough room. And I think the reason we got such a good response is because we were able to put out the information in one area, one location. It was all online. We could do pictures. We could show people what we did last year. You could link it to a Facebook page or whatever we had going on. And I think that was really helpful for our experience because it attracted a lot more people. So as I work later on, I plan to work in nonprofit organizations, and I think this would be very helpful to recruiting college students, mainly because it's more appealing for them. And also the new generation coming up with college students, it's something that a lot of nonprofits are trying to target right now because those are the future volunteers, those are the future supporters, and they're going to really make up the staff and the organization later on, I think, in the future. And so I think it's actually a new field where people are really trying to figure out ways that actually target college students, and this would be a great way to do that.
Okay. So you see this playing a role on college campuses? Definitely.
Yeah, it's just getting people out and getting a way to get a hold of college students. Once again, it's at your fingertips, an easy way for them to figure out what's going on. And you have some colleges like we have with the Convocation Community Service program, so this could be an easy link that you put alongside a Convo program where they just click and find those opportunities. I think college students would really prefer this and would take advantage of it.
Would you think that Habitat for Humanity would hop on board with something like this?
I think they would. They'd want to get in a lot more detail, especially you'd mentioned having an opportunity where people can rate their experiences. On the 3 trips I've been on, very different experiences, very different staff we're working with. The first trip we did was great. It was a really good experience for all the students involved, I think. But there were some things we probably would have done differently, and the second 2 trips have been fantastic. I think their concern might be with the rating system is most of the time people who ever go on and rate things are those who were either extremely positive, had an awesome experience. Most likely it's going to be the people who had the really negative experience and didn't get along with the construction manager, didn't get along with the site supervisor. And I think that they'd have some concern with the rating there because they would be afraid that people would go on and maybe, for 1 out of every 1,000 that had a bad experience, that would kind of classify the organization. And so I think there would need to be some, safeguard or some way to kind of channel or figure out how that's going to work. So.
Okay.
What tool would you find helpful from your own experiences with trips that you would like to see Service incorporate into their model?
What tool?
Yeah, like you said you like the zip code thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other tips that would be helpful, like maybe bumps in the road that you've experienced so far that could be smoothed out?
I think as far as specifically the Habitat trips that we've done, some of the things that I look for, Habitat does have a website where they call it a Collegiate Challenge. It's a spring break trip they do. And you can go online, you can look up location, you can look up just all the information. What would be very helpful for me as a guy who's coordinating these trips, I want to know housing. I want to know, what's provided, where it's going to be. I want to know about meals. I want to know, general costs. Where are we going to be staying? What kind of projects are we going to do? And I think one thing with a web-based application is organizations could do an updated, this is what we're going to be working on. And specific to Habitat, Sometimes you show up and you have no idea if you're going to be doing landscaping, gardening, if you're going to be working on a foundation, or if you're going to be doing the more fun stuff like framing or roofing, some of the activities. And a lot of that is, I as a coordinator have to call up, and I'll call 3 or 4 months before to coordinate the trip, and I'll have to follow back up 2 weeks before, and they never really know. And so this kind of application would allow them to go in real easily, update, this is what we're doing. You could even have a login feature where you signed up for a trip with your own name and login password, and then you can log in and you might be able to see where is the house at in construction. You maybe put a picture on there, because they don't do that, anything that I've seen. So you can see the slab being poured, you can see the frame being up, and you can actually see the progression. That way when you get there, you're actually very familiar with what's going on. Maybe put a picture of the family up there. Who are you actually supporting, because you're actually getting a face behind the building. It's not about lumber, it's not about funds, it's not about just you putting in time. It's about what you're actually doing and helping people. And I think that would be an application you could really do well with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.